Casey, Martin v. United States, what was happening in this case?
This case really arose from an FBI SWAT team's wrong house raid of an innocent family's home. They were investigating a dangerous criminal involved in a drug circle. The petitioner in this case, Katrina Martin, and her family at the time were fast asleep. They had no connection whatsoever to the FBI investigation. But what happened is the head FBI investigator who was leading the raid, he claims that his personal GPS led him both to the wrong house on the wrong street, and when he got there with the full team, he couldn't check the clearly marked house number out front because it was dark outside. What happened is the team burst through the door. They broke it off its hinges. They filled the house with the explosions of flash grenades. They woke up this terrorized family who thought criminals were invading the home and maybe were trying to kill them. Once the raid team entered the bedroom, they pulled Katrina and her partner out of the closet, dragged her partner onto the floor, shackled him. One of the members of the team noticed a letter on the table, which did not match the address of the home that they were supposed to have raided. So they promptly left. They promised they would fix the door. They didn't. So consequently, the Martin family filed this lawsuit under the Federal Tort Claims Act, or the FTCA.
What was the controversy in the case, and what did the Supreme Court have to decide, and what did they decide?
According to the lower courts, despite the clear wrong that occurred here, despite the innocent family whose rights were violated, the errors on behalf of the FBI agents, the court told the family that its claims would be thrown out and that there was no relief, no remedy here. And according to the courts, this was because any act that a law enforcement takes that is within his discretion is immunized. Any act that has a connection to a federal policy or objective also immunized. So that was essentially what the Supreme Court was asked to review here.
What did they ultimately decide?
So fortunately, the Supreme Court strongly disagreed with the lower courts. They essentially ruled that the FTCA means what it says, that there is a remedy, there is a path to relief for people whose rights are violated by federal law enforcement officers, and that you do have a cause of action against the federal government when something like this happens. Ultimately, the bottom line question in this case was, what do you do when your rights are violated by law enforcement officers? Is there a remedy? And according to the lower courts, the answer was no. You could be seriously, egregiously harmed, but there's nothing we can do for you. Sorry. As I said, the Supreme Court made it clear that that is not the correct interpretation of the law or the Constitution, and they have restored the Martin family's lawsuit.
Does this impact other qualified immunity cases that violate someone's rights?
I don't know that it has directly impacted, qualified immunity and the other millions of forms of immunity that exist today, but I think it is a step in the right direction. The Supreme Court is thinking about these things.
Casey, thank you for explaining the Martin case.
I'm glad to be here.